Vishnu,
Yeah.
Srinath will be there throughout.
Yeah.
So we may give about 2-3 minutes for him to speak, respond after if there is a possibility. Huh?
Sure.
Because MD just goes away after finishing it. Madam Gunjan will be there. She will also speak.
We are live on YouTube now.
Okay, great. Thanks, Ajay.
Nagaraj sir, our MD has joined. You can start, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you all. Warm welcome. Let's get started. Thanks a lot for everyone joining, especially our esteemed guests and speakers. So a warm welcome and a kickoff, for the BAF E-Vaahana campaign for green mobility. It's a campaign initiative from Bangalore Apartment Federation in partnership with World Resource Institute India and Adda Software along with Citizen Matters. Thank you very much. Let's get started. So here is the brief agenda. So I'll just give a brief couple of minutes overview about the campaign. Then it will be followed by keynote address by our guests, Ms. Rajendra Cholan, IAS, MD BESCOM, and Ms. Gunjan Krishna, IAS, Commissioner, Department of Industries and Commerce. Followed by some of the topics. We will see some of the success stories, then implementation perspectives, and many other things, right? So without wasting too much time, I would straight away get into give a quick campaign overview and hand it over to the keynote speakers. So what is BAF campaign, E-Vaahana campaign is all about? So we plan to create a complete ecosystem to propel green mobility in Bengaluru. So it's not just about a single webinar or something. So we want to bring in the knowledge from the experts and policy experts, policy matters and government officials. And also we are bringing the vendors who are giving exclusive offers for RWS to set up the EV charging stations in their premises. And we'll see some implementation testimonials also. And we'll create a complete ecosystem support. For instance, we have a BAF microsite, which is exclusively dedicated for E-Vaahana campaign. And also we have created a Telegram group where RWS and vendors can interact and get their queries answered, etc. So we plan to continue to put efforts on a consistent manner for the next couple of months rather than a single webinar and a discussion. So we'll hear more and more about what E-Vaahana campaign is about as the conference progresses or the webinar progresses. So without wasting much time, I would like to give a brief introduction about our keynote speakers today. So Mr. Rajendra Cholan, he's currently the MD BESCOM. He's from 2008 IAS batch, and he's also currently managing director of KRTC and also additional charge at MD as Bus Rapid Transit System. I think he is currently also taking charge at Bengaluru Smart City Limited. And in the past, he has held various roles such as Special Commissioner BBMP Health and IT, and Assistant Commissioner Haveri Subdivision, and Deputy Commissioner for several districts, and Managing Director for HESCOM, etc. So warm welcome to Mr. Rajendra Cholan.
Thank you.
And, thank you, sir. And we also would like to invite Ms. Gunjan Krishna. She is IAS Commissioner, Department of Industries and Commerce, Government of Karnataka. She holds a economic honors degree from Lady Shri Ram College, and she holds a law degree from Law Campus Center, Delhi University. She joined IAS in 2004 with extensive work experience with state government as well as central government. And she also, as a MD KSIADC, spearheaded the implementation of infra projects, including especially on the public-private partnership space. And interestingly, she is also an author. She wrote a book on freedom from bondage to freedom, an analysis on. Sorry, this keeps coming.
Legal regime.
Yeah, legal regime on human trafficking. Yeah, so warm welcome to our keynote speaker. So I hand it over to Mr. Rajendra Cholan first because he has an immediate appointment where he has to leave. So we would start with Mr. Rajendra Cholan, and then we go with Gunjan ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr.
Rajendra Cholan, sir.
Good evening and warm greeting to everyone. I'm happy that Bangalore Apartment Federation has organized this E-Vaahana campaign, which is the need of hour to promote electric vehicles in Bangalore city. There is a need of hour to promote large-scale EV electric vehicles in the country. This requires setting up electric vehicle charging stations to meet the demand of electric vehicles. Considering this, Government of Karnataka has announced setting up 1,000 charging stations in its budget 2021. And you are not aware that BESCOM is the nodal agency of setting up charging infrastructures for electric vehicles in the state of Karnataka. We are coordinating with other ESCOMs and district administrations to establish charging stations across the districts as well as in the highways. I'm glad to inform that Karnataka is the first state in the country to implement electric vehicle and energy storage policy 2017. To promote the usage of electric vehicles by citizens, BESCOM has set up electric vehicle charging at 74 locations with 136 charging points across the BESCOM and across the Bangalore. And also we have planned to set up another 300 charging stations in all the government with the cooperation of BMRCL, BBMP, and our own building, as well as we have planned to cooperate with other apartment federations, malls, and wherever the public places are available. Further, Government of Karnataka is amending the building bylaws, wherein it will be mandatory for shopping malls, apartment complex, and high-rise buildings to provide dedicated electric vehicle charging points in their parking lots, enabling accessibility of charging points for electric vehicles. Also, I'm glad to inform you that BESCOM, in association with the C-Steps, has taken up an innovative pilot project on SRP integration of electric vehicle charging stations with the energy storage system, which is first kind of in country. Also, promote this green energy, BESCOM has a plan to install 300 megawatt rooftop with the cooperation of all the apartments and individual household and other government departments. The tender is under process. We are committed to implement this 300 megawatt solar rooftop in next 6 months' time. And as for the regulatory point of view, KRC has introduced the LT6 tariff for EV charging stations in 2018. The tariff at present is 5 rupees per unit for energy charges. The cost per unit for end user is different from place to place based on the locations. It's vary from 7 rupees 14 paise to 7 rupees 95 paise. It's depending on the type of the charges. And BESCOM is committed to identify the places wherever it is available, either with malls or apartments. And in this regard, we created separate EV charging cell in BESCOM office. We have dedicated offices, including GM EV cells and 10 offices also. As well as we implemented mobile app for EV charging users. They get to know that where are the EV charging stations are available in Bangalore with the map and the availability also. And second thing is we identified around 60 to 70 places in the highways from Bangalore to Belgaum highways and this Bellary, and coordinating with other ESCOMs, even Chamundeswari, Hubli, and Mangalore. And we hope that end of March 2022, we have planned to establish another 500 charging stations. So to increase this charging infrastructure, we requested that all the participants of apartments to give suggestion and opinions in promoting the policy and regulations of e-mobility, as well as, and even I also personally interacted with many apartments and malls. They also have a lot of issues. If you could share with us as a nodal agency, it will help us to come with the policy as well as with the regulatory issues. In this regard, I stop it here. And once again, as a nodal agency of EV charging, I thank all these Bangalore apartment federations and organizers to arrange this meeting. Thank you.
Sir,
Thank you very much.
Vishnu, Vishnu, 1 minute. Before you leave, sir, BAF has 2 initiatives on green energy and green mobility. Green energy was on solar 3 years ago. Then BESCOM MD inaugurated this. And today, the green mobility, you have kindly consented to inaugurate. For kind information, we have some initiatives. We will take a separate meeting with you, sir, and then come up. And Mr. Srinath has been very, very helpful to us. And then we will come back to you, sir.
Thank you so much. And we also committed to cooperate with federations, because as a nodal agency, it's our responsibility to promote EV charging and green energy in Bangalore. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your valuable insights, Rajendra Chodal, sir. And also thanks to Mr. C.K. Srinath, who is DGM Smart Grid and Electrical Vehicles from BESCOM, to join us, and he would stay throughout the meeting and help us answer any of the questions that we have. So thanks a lot for that. So with that, we move on to the next keynote speaker, Ms. Gunjan Krishna, who is Commissioner for Department of Industries and Commerce, Government of Karnataka. Ma'am, if you could come on video and start speaking.
Thanks a lot. My colleague, Mr. Rajendra Cholan, Mr. Nagaraj Rao, President, BAF, Mr. Shankar Swaminathan, the Vice President. I think we have representatives from WRI and ADDA, and all the ladies and gentlemen present. In fact, it is a pleasure to be here at Bangalore Apartment Federation's E-Vaahana Campaign. I would first like to congratulate you all for taking up and spearheading this movement, because the need of the hour we have seen. You must have seen what happened at the COP. We are facing a crisis. Global warming is real, and we are seeing the ramifications and the repercussions of that in having heavy rainfalls, El Nino effect, El Nina effect. We are seeing it. In Bangalore, you see the rainfalls that we have never seen in the month of November. So such things will become, and you know what is happening in Delhi. So much is talked about crop burning. I'm sure crop burning is also one of the reasons where we get it, and the whole, how the entire northern area, northern India, and the geography of it, how the air comes, that definitely contributes. But the important part is we're talking about emissions, and we have to reduce the emissions to reduce the, we have to reduce our carbon footprint. And for that, everything that is possible for everyone to do is something that we have to work together. Government and the citizen associations, apartment associations, NGOs, research organizations, corporations, all of us industry have to come together to see, how we can make sure that we are able to bring down the, the global, 1.5 degrees, the pre-industrial level that we are looking at doing. And that is the target that we are looking at. So in that, electric vehicles play a very important role. And for electric vehicle, we have to create the whole ecosystem. And Karnataka, for that matter, is always work on the ecosystem approach. Because this is something new. People are used to their vehicles. They don't have the range. They don't have the problem of where to charge. Your petrol pumps are scattered throughout the length and breadth of the country. So here we have the newer challenges, and these are the challenges where people, community put together can come and ensure that we can create the right ecosystem. So government is also dedicated at doing it. We were the first state to come out with the electric vehicle policy way back in 2017. And we have recently amended the policy also in order to ensure that we are as competitive as any other state in the country. And we are looking at bringing more changes and ensuring that certain demand side incentives, retrofitting also get into the place so that we can create an ecosystem where the demand side also builds up. Do give, as you are aware, that for every charging that is happening, and Srinath is also here, who's been working and spearheading, creation of the charging infrastructure in the state. So we give a tariff, which is a lower tariff of 5 when it comes to the charging stations, which is going to be set up for the electric mobility. Now, in this, there are many challenges that we are looking at it. What I will do is I'll first talk a bit about our policy, and then I will get down to the charging person. After that, I will talk that where BAF and Government of Karnataka can work to create a paradigm which can be replicated in all the other parts of the country. Now, talking about policy, we, as you know, that we give around 15% subsidy for any person, any company which is looking at setting up electric vehicle, either manufacturing or for the charging station manufacturing, or for, so that is 15% subsidy, plus we give 1% PLI. And for those people who are setting up charging infrastructure, we give incentive of up to 10 lakh rupees. Now, what we are looking at it is, if you compare what is present in the charging infrastructure within, we have around 100 charging stations here in Bangalore. And if you look at petrol pumps, there would be more than thousands of petrol pumps within the Bangalore city, if you're looking at it. So if we want two-wheelers, three-wheelers, and others to come, we really want a scale when it comes to charging infrastructure. Now, the issue that comes up is, which comes first, eggs and this thing, that whether charging station should come before or this thing. Definitely, government has to give a push, which is why BESCOM is working and we are creating this. But associations, especially apartment federation, and the apartment associations can really play a big role, because we have also come out with these facilitating provisions where we are trying to mandate that every apartment complex, where big buildings, the commercial buildings, your multiplexes, your malls and all, for every few parking slots, there should be a charging. And charging can be a mix of both slow charging and the fast charging, because if you're looking at the slow charging, then the cost is not much. And we have had a meeting with the BAF earlier, and we are open to that if there is a proposal and if there is a push that is required from the government side to set up these parking in the apartment, where you have a number of apartments together and there a charging infrastructure can be created. We can work closely and see how we can incentivize that, what kind of mechanism that can be worked, and we are working with you, and I look forward to working on that count, that how we can ensure that more and more infrastructure gets created when it comes to charging. Because charging infrastructure will ensure that people have that kind of a comfort that if they buy electric vehicle, then they will be able to ply them throughout length and breadth without worrying that they have to stop at one place and there is no way. The other thing that we are trying to do is that we are going to talk and to the demand creation. And in the demand creation, we are talking to the fleet operators, because you have most of these fleet operators are the basic larger consumers of these vehicles, and these vehicles really run, because the total cost of ownership really comes down when these vehicles are used at the, when they ply for more number of kilometers in a day. And that is very nicely fulfilled by these fleet operators. So we are looking at engaging with them and trying to ensure that more and more of their fleet gets converted into electric. We are also talking to a number of other companies to ensure that national highways, see, if you would know, 6% of the vehicles contribute to 60% of the pollution. And these are your large commercial vehicles. Now, these large commercial vehicles essentially ply on the your major national highways and the bigger highways. They come to the city also, but they are plying those. So the important aspect is not only we look at the cities, but we also look at national highways and the bigger that are connecting big roads, your bigger cities to each other or smaller cities to each other. So that is something also in the pipeline. We are talking to a number of operators like Reliance, BPL, Honda, and some others, that how we can create that charging infrastructure also. So now what we have to look at it is, and also, as I mentioned before, the demand side, we are also looking at that how we can create certain incentives. Number of states have come out that if you buy a new electric vehicle, then you will get certain incentive. FAME is also giving certain kind of incentives to the manufacturers and to ensure that the costs are lowered. We are also trying to do something either through retrofitting or through when you buy a new vehicle, there's certain incentives that can be given so that we can ensure that people adopt more and more electric vehicles. So that is something that the government is looking at it. But a campaign from the resident welfare associations will go a long way. And if possible, we can work with you and to see, there's certain area we can totally make them green. As more and more charging station comes out in a particular area, can we not look at it, we can create green cities, because this step that we are taking today will go a long way to ensuring that, we have green cities. So here we as policymakers and also, involved in the implementation, transport department, we work very closely with. So all the issues related to, road tax and other things, we will work closely with you. If you have any issues, do let us know. We are trying to also build a cluster. You will be very glad to know the one testing center for two-wheeler and three-wheelers has coming up in Dodballapur. So that will again give a big fillip to the ecosystem approach that Karnataka is trying to adopt. We are the lighthouse state recognized by the Niti Aayog, that the kind of policies and the framework that have been created, we have been engaging with the World Economic Forum at Davos also. So idea is to, ensure that all the building blocks that are required for creating a strong ecosystem for the EVs to flourish are there in the state. And we are open to all suggestions. So I look forward to hearing from, I've been talking to so many of you, and it's a pleasure to see all of you here. And we are open to, we need to learn, because you need to tell us from your side, what is it all that we can do when it comes to creating charging station, the number of reducing compliance burden issue, because if you create number of charging station, then you have to file separate applications. So we are taking that also with the energy department and try to ensure that all those also are simplified. So what I would like to know is, if you are having any issues, then please do let us know, and we will take them up. There was a question that has just come with retrofit. We are not talking about, retro. They will become completely e-vehicles, and they should be ARI certified. And this is only in the offing. It is not. We are just working on certain packages that we are looking at, but we will be also promoting the new vehicles. So idea is to create this ecosystem approach. I'll be very happy to take your questions. Thanks a lot for inviting me for this. And we look forward to working closely with BAF, with the apartment associations, with the citizens of our Bangalore city, to ensure that we become really the torchbearer of e-mobility and the torchbearer of, say, ensuring that we have a green city. So thanks a lot, and wish you all the very best.
Thank you very much, Gunjan ma'am, for your valuable insights, and excited to hear all the updates. And as BAF, we continue to work with you, and we will come to you with our wish list of certain things. And sometimes the comparisons come with Delhi, there are some incentives, etc. Right? So as this campaign kickstarted, so we'll collect all the feedback from the RWS and come to you. And thanks a lot for being proactive and framing the policies. So thanks a lot once again. And people who are posting the questions, right? So please keep posting. Since the session is jam-packed with a lot of presentations, we have our knowledge partner, Citizen Matters, in partnership with us. So some of the questions which could not be answered, we will reach out to the relevant authorities, or whatever we could answer from our experience. We will put together all the questions and answers and publish an article in the next 1 to 2 days, so that everyone can see those
so you
questions
can send questions to us, and we can answer, give you written answers, and you can send to the people.
Absolutely, ma'am.
Oh, thanks, and pleasure to be here. Yeah,
we'll do that. Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah,
Next.
Thanks. Thank you very much, ma'am. So with that, we thank once again Mr. Rajendra Cholan and Ms. Gunjan Krishna. And with that, let's take a look at one of the recently installed residential EV charging station success story. We'll see a short 2 minutes video, and then we'll go live to that apartment, and we'll hear from the management committee how they've done or what they've done, right? So let me play the video here. Yeah. So I hope audio will also come. Yeah, let me play it here. Looks like the video has paused. Let me play it in this mode. I think it is pausing when I'm playing. Thank you. We have a longer video as well, which we will upload in our BF microsite, which you can go through. And with that, I would like to hand it over back to the Salarpuria Greenage Management Committee to share their experience. They are live at the site.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. I'm Satish Malya from BAF Technical Services Group. I'm at Salarpuria Greenage. We would like to show you some pilot projects which we implemented. First, we'll go through our management committee members. Mr. President will speak about the how we implemented the project at this apartment.
Good evening, everyone. I am Venkatramani from Salarpuria Greenage at Bommanhalli. We have about 1,700 houses in Greenage. We, as specified by the MD of BESCOM as well as by the Industries Commissioner, we also thought that it is the need of the hour to go for green and how to bring down the CO2 footprint. Simultaneously, some of the residents were showing their interest to have the electric vehicle, and prior to buying, they were asking us to give a separate connection to individual houses, which we thought it will not be viable on a long run, and especially when the large number of people are going in for that. Hence, we thought that we should go proactively in introducing a common area of charging, and we have explored the possibility of going in for common area charging. We started evaluating the standards available, and in terms of the kilowatt required, and in terms of the feasibility of tapping power from our panel room, etc. That way, we have located a suitable place, and to start with, we have gone for a few number of vehicles that can be charged. Prior to that, we did a survey also with the residents, how many are likely to go in for, and this has motivated many of them to go for a new vehicles, which is in the pipeline. Hence, thus we have zeroed in on EcoSource, and they have partnered, and they have taken a lot of interest and carried out the installation using our infrastructure. So, yeah.
We'll just show some demo on the whatever we have done here.
Hi, Satish. Hi, everyone. This is Ashika here. I'm from EcoSource. I just want to quickly walk through. I believe we have only 5 minutes, so I'm just going to show the various types of chargers that we have installed here. What you see here is Ether chargers, which we actually use exclusively for Ether vehicles here. Now, I'll just show you how this charging works. What you see is a connector. This is what when someone talks about this is a connector that you have, and that typically all you have to do is turn on the thing, and then you actually it starts charging once you connect it. So yeah, so this is a Ether charger. Next is we have a AC 001 charger where we have 3 chargers which are connected here. Simultaneously, you can charge 3 vehicles. Each one of it charger takes 3.3 kilowatt, and then you can charge either 3 scooters or 3 cars. I'll just show you quickly, the connectors for this one. You have this is a industrial socket. What you will see here, just need to plug it in, and the other side of the thing is other industrial socket. I'll have to open it up. So anyway, this goes inside this one, and then once you do that, then you have a mobile phone app that we have needs to be opened up. Once you connect it, you open a mobile app where you choose with what charger you are charging it from, and then choose the time that you want to charge it. Yeah, here actually we can actually see this. This is one of the chargers. Just plug it in, and then use a mobile app after this, and then choose a time that you want to charge it, and then the it starts charging, and then prepaid things happen automatically. Yeah. So we'll go to the third one. What we have here. This is a charging infrastructure. How do you charge it? These are steps that one could take to charge it, and it takes probably 50 seconds to 1 minute to get one charger get going. Right. This is a third charger, which is a 7.4 kilowatt charger. This comes with a CCS charging point, and we have 3 standards, which is CCS, GPT, and CHAdeMO. CCS is something which is common in India today. I mean, most of the vehicles are adapting, especially the 4-wheelers, right? You see that today. And this one, we don't have a vehicle to show you how this works, but this is again the same thing. You use a mobile app, connect, like the other vehicle. Yeah, and then it starts charging. You choose a time, and then people can pay through prepaid means, like how you do for the Paytm or other things like that. So the last one, this is so this is a meter board where we have connected the meter, where it actually records the total amount of energy that the charging infrastructure is taking. Based on this, the association also is going to bill, to the residents, and the residents which are paying to an app through our account will be reimbursed at the end of the month, right? So that's a primarily thing, and what we have set up here. Hope in future we have more of these community chargers coming from all across Bangalore and across India as well. Thank you very much.
Yeah, this is again Venkatramani here from
Thanks a lot.
Green Age. This work was carried out as a teamwork. My co-members, Mr. Venkat, who is the secretary of Green Age Association, and Mr. Vinod, who played a key role in getting this accomplished. I just would like to thank them also.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Vishnu, you can take over forward.
I think Vishnu's connection is...
No, I'm back. So
okay.
Yeah.
Just in time, please.
Yeah, thanks. So congratulations to the team Salarpuria, and also congratulations to Aether and EcoSearch teams for executing that. So thanks a lot. So with that, we move on to the next topic in the agenda. So we hope more and more associations take inspiration and go ahead with the implementations of EV charging stations. So let's go to the next speaker. We'll hear from Mr. Nagaraj Rao, President of BAF, on.
Yeah. Revered keynote speakers, Mr. Rajendra Cholan and Madam Kunjan Krishna, my friend Mr. Srinath, DGM, my colleagues in BAF, our partners of the event, vendors, representatives of the RWAS. There can't be a better day than launching green mobility on a day called National Pollution Control Day. This was done to educate people about prevention of air, soil, noise, water pollution, and etc. For information, 7 million people die every year due to air pollution. BAF has been very friendly with the apartments on one side, with the government on the other, and we would like to run the race along with the government and the BESCOM to be with you in your efforts. We had, as I explained earlier before Mr. Cholan left, the first initiative on the green, it was on green energy. 3 years ago, we instituted and the rooftop solar project, a green energy project. and we have about 100, 120 apartments now installed with the rooftop solar. And this was inaugurated by the then MD BESCOM. And today we have the Green Mobility Initiative as a second initiative from the BESCOM, from BAF. For information, we have about 1,050 RWAs in our federation, and about 2 lakh households and 1 million population. Out of the 1,050, about 45% will be smaller units, about 0 to 100 flats, and the rest of it, 60% will be 100 to, even it has gone to 3,400. We would like to concentrate more on the maybe the bigger apartments because of the space available in that area. And there are already about 6 to 10, our survey indicates about 6 to 10 electric vehicles in many of the apartments. Perhaps this has taken a conductor seat because of the lack of charging infrastructure. As Madam put it, it is chicken and egg policy. Keeping this in view, we have come out with 2 solutions, 2 sectors, 2 models. One is the CapEx model, spending about up to 1 to 2 lakhs, a slow charging station infrastructure, which can be afforded by the RWAs, and especially it will come down with the favors from the vendors. And the second one is the DC fast charging station, the OPEX model, where we may have to invest about 8 to 10 lakhs, where we need the support of BESCOM and the industries department. There we can collect about 10 to 12 vehicles as expected. We are expecting the number of vehicles to go double or triple in a couple of years, where we would like to enhance the capacity of the charging infrastructure. See, the major difference is, while the solar project got accepted quickly because of the investment by the RWA for the benefit of one and all in the apartment complex, this gets limited to a few who are owning the vehicles. That is this first small snag, but anyway, we are trying to overcome that. That's why I said wherever the investment is high, we may need some support. Now at present, we are observing that individuals have been drawing cables from their meter. It's quite unsafe, as according to the information, and the load requirement also is there. And there's no
Citizen matter.
There's no EV meter also available, so the subset of units is not available there. Perhaps if we go for a combined community infrastructure, perhaps we will do that. The limitations from the point of view of the apartments is the space, which we can overcome, and the investment as explained. Issues other than this will be, some of the apartments have the meters in the name of the builders, which we will have to convert it, transfer it to the association, where we need the support of the BESCOM. A sanction of additional power wherever necessary, because the meter can be fixed for the LT6. Wherever there is an additional cost involved while taking the sanction, if it is 20 kilowatts extra, you have to pay 100 rupees per month per kilowatt as the fixed cost. We would be requesting BESCOM to waive this as an incentive to promote EVs, and of course the supply of EV meter to be done little faster. I mean, in this sense, as soon as it is ready, I suggest a single window clearance for all the above issues, both from the BESCOM, mostly from the BESCOM and the industry department. Bangalore is reported to have the highest number of electric vehicles. We like the RWAs to join the race with the government and BESCOM. There's a report, Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy and the Alternative Fuels Data Center. They have mentioned that the tailpipe emissions are far less in EVs, though there is a slight carbon debt in the production of batteries. Every unit of thermal power generates 0.7 kg of carbon dioxide, whereas 1 kWp kilowatts power in solar system is equivalent to planting 2 green trees in terms of carbon sequestration. We add more green power. We have about 100 member apartments who have installed solar, more than that. By dovetailing solar with the EV, we would be doubly reducing the carbon footprint, one on no coal for production of power and no emission from the vehicles. BAF always supports the areas of sustainability and development in the city, and we from the BAF work for a cause, not for applause. Thank you. Over to you, Vishnu.
Thank you very much, Nagaraj Rao sir. So for your insights. So now let's hear from BAF Vice President Mr. Shankar Swaminathan on about BAF E-Vaahana campaign briefly. Over to you, Shankar.
Thank you, Vishnu. And first of all, a big thank you to Mr. Rajendra Cholan and Ms. Gunjan Krishna for having found time to come and encourage and take this campaign forward. We really look forward to much support and help from that. I also welcome and thank WRI and as well as ADDA and Citizen Matters who are with us in this campaign. And going forward, I think we will have a lot more to learn from each of us and try to bring information to the apartment community, that is. And also a big thank you to all the RWO members of the Federation who have taken time and come and participated in a larger number. And not to forget to my colleagues in BAF. Thank you all. It's a great occasion for all of us to assemble together. And a subject that's been much talked about in our country in the recent times. I would just like to probably be a little brief. I know time is probably running out for many of us. So the first thing is, I just want to go through the way our E-Vaahana story actually developed. Actually, it's almost a year ago, sometime in September 20, the subject of E-Vaahana or EV charging that came into BAF's focus. But at that time, the perception was that there is very little interest or probably very limited interest as far as EV mobility is concerned. We then, as Mr. Nagaraj Rao was mentioning, it was a question of space. It was a question of very few residents being interested and probably therefore managing committees restrained and constrained to take that subject forward. And then there was also an unusual concern on approval procedures on a new setup or a new system that's coming up. And for many, it was sort of a wait and watch. They're probably waiting for more knowledge and waiting for more report on better performance or outcome of this kind of a installation. So we commenced interaction with BESCOM on rules for implementation as early as September of last year. BESCOM representative Mr. Srinath, who is today here, he was a part of that and he has been quite supportive and encouraging and has helped us also to take some steps forward on this. We are of course looking for a system that would encourage residents, expecting support similar to what BESCOM gave us as far as the solar initiative was concerned. And we thought in fact that initiative has been largely encouraging, and many more apartments in our BAF community are still showing interest, and the numbers on SRTPVs are going up and up. So we think that a similar arrangement or a similar support from BESCOM should be forthcoming, and there is every reason for us to expect that to happen. And this, we believe, can really take the mission of taking e-mobility forward in the apartment community. We also then at that point of time, as early as September, October, created an awareness document, which is largely developed by Vishnu. Of course, he has also recast that document a couple of months ago to put in some more information as available at the present moment of time. And as early as September of last year, of course, we had only few vendors who were there and who came forward and shared as a proposal, which in fact we took to the groups that were there. And the only thing it was appeared is that only the larger apartments were more inclined. And it was necessary for us to do some kind of a poll or some kind of a review or a cross-check with the apartment community. And we found 30 or 40 among the larger groups were interested. And although there was a cautious stance as to how they can take it forward, because at that point of time, even limited information was there, or probably they were themselves not fully informed whether they have all the points in place as far as taking it with their managing committees and putting an installation. And then earlier this year, from our side, what we did, we had an occasion to meet BESCOM MD, when we had talked about several electrical issues, but we also focused on SRTPV issues, and the last amongst them at that point of time was EV. We also put across some issues on how this can be simplified and how we can probably get apartments to show more interest. And this is something that we have been representing by way of a letter and by way of communications, both with BESCOM, and on that instance, we also have gone to KERC. But all of this for us on the policy front is still work in progress. We have a lot more to do to articulate more strongly and get our points of view heard to make this a more interesting and comfortable journey for most of the RWS interested. And also, if you see probably from the months subsequent to February and as early as the last 2-3 months, there has been a lot of media attention to the subject of EV mobility, more out of the issue of the COP initiative that has taken place. And also what we have seen is as far as pollution in cities like Delhi, of which we have been hearing far too often. And then with media articles and ground actions from existing manufacturers, startups also had shown a lot of interest to get into this space of e-mobility. And the one other additional factor that supported was the rising fuel prices, which in a way really motivated a lot more residents and citizens in the city to think probably e-mobility is the best way, because probably that means good economics and also means good for the environment around them. And we also see major companies are engaged in doing EV charging station. Governments are doing it state-wise also. And we just heard Mr. Rajendra Cholan tell us, as well as Ms. Gunjan also was speaking about how states are also moving forward individually, regardless of private participation, and bringing more and more EV charging stations to them. This probably is the way of dispelling the, I think we have used this phrase 3 times in this meeting, the chicken and egg story. And that has been mostly in the minds of most apartment owners, whether which is the one that must come first, was a sort of a dilemma for most of them. And if we look at the media reports that we have as of 1st September, probably BESCOM can clarify. The note that we have seen of the 1st September is there are about 18,000 odd EVs in Bangalore and about 30,000 in Karnataka. And BESCOM, according to that report, we were supposed to be having 136 charging stations in city and another 140 coming year. But now, of course, we heard Mr. Rajendra Cholan telling probably they are going to for something of the order of 1,000. It's a very welcome sign. Between then and now, the government has tried to engage and accelerate their own efforts as far as this is concerned. All in all, the common man has also now realized that EV mobility is very good economics and good for him. This wasn't the feeling that was there a year ago. And the EV mobility industry too has understood. And we now have many more vendors who have been approaching us and with whom we have also engaged to try to bring many vendors onto a common platform so that there is choice for apartment association to see what these are. So this is one reason that in September, the thought occurred to us, probably this is a good time to go and set up
time check. We are 9 minutes behind schedule.
E-Vaahana campaign that is there. So that's what it is. And probably that's the reason that the campaign is on the launch today. And I take it that our colleagues Pradeep and Satish will take this forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Shankar sir. So just to let everyone know, we are running 9 minutes late. So hope we can extend the program by 9 minutes. So thanks a lot, Mr. Shankar. So with that, we move on to our next partner in this campaign. We are honored to have WR as our partner. So we have Chaitanya Kannuri. She's a senior program manager with Sustainable Cities and Transport team at WRA India, where she leads various research and project initiatives on e-mobility. And she also researches a lot on how the policy can be bettered or research on the policy, right? So I hand it over to Chaitanya to present her slides and share her wisdom. Over to you, Chaitanya.
Thanks, Vishnu. Are you able to, hold on.
Yeah, we can see you.
Are you able to see my slides?
Yes.
Great. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and we're really happy to be partnering with BAF on this. I think we started understanding the pain point of residential charging when we were working on a handbook with Niti Aayog, and The handbook was meant to be a primer on EV charging infrastructure implementation. And the more we spoke to people, the more we realized that public charging is an issue that is being addressed, that is in the conversation a lot. But one significant pain point that a lot of people were not talking about, they are thankfully talking about it a lot more in the past couple of months, but were not talking about, is residential charging. And it's gratifying to see that an organization like BAF has actually understood the need for this right from last year. And we're really happy to be partnering with you on this. So I just wanted to take a little bit of time to set the technical and policy context for the conversation that we're having. I think the previous speakers already addressed several of the policy initiatives that would be needed. And I would reiterate those very briefly and add a couple of other things based on best practices from other states that we've been seeing. So first off, just the importance of residential charging, right? Why is it so important? And the reason is that over 90% of all vehicles sold in India are personal vehicles. About 80% are electric two-wheelers and another 12 to 13% are personal cars. So if we're talking about a 30% shift of vehicles to electric by 2030, then personal vehicles have to be a big part of that picture, even as we promote shared mobility like public transport for sustainability reasons. And we know that for personal vehicles, almost 80% of their charging requirements are fulfilled through home charging. This is based on studies from other countries where the electrification trajectory is further advanced. And the presence or not of residential charging actually becomes a decision-making factor when someone is choosing to purchase an EV. So residential charging, in short, is one of the crucial requirements if we're actually looking at the e-mobility transition to happen successfully. And it goes hand in hand with public charging and is part of a large-scale ecosystem for EV charging. Second, just to look very briefly at the policy and regulatory framework that states and the center have. Now, the government of India has already issued through the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs in 2019 itself, they amended the model building bylaws, which mandated that 20% of all parking spaces in commercial and residential complexes need to be equipped with EV charging infrastructure. Now, state policies have also recommended that state building bylaws be amended because it is the states that have to take the action on the building bylaws. And when it came to residential constructions. Now, there are not as many explicit directives for existing buildings. And what we are talking today are about existing buildings. But at the same time, states are providing certain incentives on this front. For example, Delhi is offering a grant of 100% or up to 6,000 rupees subsidy per charger, even for private charging within residential complexes. Maharashtra, in its latest revision of the policy, is offering or has recommended that property tax rebates be offered for setting up charging in housing societies. Now, a lot of times the policy to implementation gap does exist. So the EV policy might suggest this, but it is the Urban Development Department that needs to do this. And this is where communities like BAF and other partners that are on this call can actually work with the government to go from policy to implementation. And another third innovative sort of directive that was put out by a government is that of Gujarat, which mandated that housing societies provide a no objection certificate to its residents willing to install EV charging. So there are things by which the process of getting EV charging can be made easier. And a couple of states, while not doing too much yet, are doing some things on this front that could be learned from. So what does residential charging entail exactly? So primarily we're talking about private e-two-wheelers, electric two-wheelers or four-wheelers, right? And we know that electric two-wheelers are going to be the first and foremost that will be making the transition very rapidly. Most estimates suggest that by 2030, about 50% of new two-wheeler purchases will be electric. So we know that that will be the primary requirement when it comes to the charging. And the good news is that for electric two-wheelers, a 5 ampere or 15 ampere single phase socket or connection is all that is required for charging. Most electric two-wheelers charge via a portable cable or by connecting to a fixed wall charger. And this is not a very high load either. For electric four-wheelers, as we've seen in the Salapuria greenage installation, Typically, a type 2 AC charger with 7 kilowatts rating would be recommended, which might require some wiring changes, like a 32 amp wire rather than the 16 amp wire that is there. A 3 kilowatt connection could also be used, but it would be slower. So for both of them, you can see that it can be set up using the existing electricity grid. You do not need fast charging in home charging, because fast charging typically requires additional electricity infrastructure, which would significantly drive up the cost and is not necessary, because home charging is typically overnight charging. You have 8 to 10 hours at least every night to charge your vehicle, which means that you can do it in slow charging, and most people will not need to charge their vehicles every day. So even for a shared facility, you could easily manage with fewer chargers and more EVs and phase it up in a scaled manner. And so now we've spoken about the individual building level, but what about when you're, individual flat or individual vehicle level, but as a society, when you are looking at the connections, there are a few things to think of, right? So are you going to let each apartment or each flat go ahead and get their own EV connection? As Sripati Greenage did mention as well, that might become a problem in the longer run. When you're at 2 or 3 vehicles, you're fine, because the sanctioned load of the building probably has that much headroom, and you can keep increasing the loads on each flat. But if you want to take this forward in a planned manner, it does make sense for the RWA to step in and to actually work to plan for a shared charging facility where registered EV owners can charge. They can do this with the help of charging service providers, or they can do it themselves with existing other user service platforms that they have already, because usually you will need some sort of software interface for booking the charging point, usage tracking, and payments. But there are options for this, and this need not become a major commercial venture, which I saw was a concern in one of the comments. There are options of doing it with multiple providers, or you can even do it yourself. So on whether you need an additional sanctioned load or a new electricity connection, a lot of times we're hearing about EV connections, right? So at the moment, EV connections are not applicable for residential charging in Karnataka. I think other than in most states, they're currently not applicable. So while that could and should change, until that time, there might be an additional cost to get a new EV connection rather than use the existing connection for charging, for setting up your chargers. And in most cases, if you're looking at a shared charging facility, buildings do have adequate headroom, and you will be able to accommodate some amount of chargers within that, in consultation with the DISCOM, of course. And you can look at increasing your load requirement in a phased manner. And what does help here is dynamic load management solutions. So you can increase the number of chargers within a limited load, because dynamic load management solutions actually help throttle the amount of power through each charger, thereby allowing more chargers to operate on a smaller load. So that's another alternative that charging service providers are now starting to offer, and buildings can also explore that. And finally, I just wanted to say that one of the things I have been hearing from Vishnu and others as well is that a lot of people have concerns about safety and whether these are permitted, the installation of chargers. The Central Electricity Authority is responsible for defining the technical standards and regulations for EV charging, and they have come up with two regulations which they have amended to include EV charging directives on, and they have quite a few mandates in terms of how to ensure the safety of your vehicles. It is perfectly all right to, for example, set up your EV charging in a basement. It is perfectly all right to do it in an outdoor space or an indoor space. It is just that the protections that are supposed to be in place, and the ingress protection of the vehicle, of the charger, for example, the coverage or the material being fire retardant, and there being enough fire safety concerns being addressed, any sort of flooding concerns and all being addressed by making sure that the charger is positioned in a raised platform or at a raised level. there are several guidelines, but these are all permitted. It is just that they need to be followed and adhered to, which any appropriate charging service provider or anyone can do using these guidelines. So that should allay some fears, I'm hoping, and I will close here. So thank you.
You're on mute, Vishnu.
Sorry, I was speaking on mute. Thanks a lot, Chaitanya, for such wonderful insights on the policy front. I think we'd look forward for a lot of inputs from WRI, which could also help answer several RWS questions, which we'll publish as a documentation or a knowledge base, right? So thanks again. So with that, we quickly move on to our next esteemed partner. That's Ashika Sripati, co-founder of Adda Software. So over to you, Ashika.
Thank you so much, Vishnu. Good evening, everybody. A lot of familiar faces here, like Nagraj, Vishnu, and all the BAF members. So just a brief introduction about Adda. Adda has been in this industry since last 12 years plus now, and at the core of the company, we have always stood for sustainable initiatives. So if you look at like before BAF era, right? Adda was the one who kind of like brought all the stakeholders together for addressing some of the sustainable challenges that were there in the market. But we were glad that BAF is here now and taking on this initiative, bringing all the stakeholders together. And we are very, very happy to be associated with this E-Vaahana campaign that BAF has initiated now, and happy to see the government involvement in this as well, from MD Bescom and Ms. Gunjan being part of this initiative as well, and again WRI as well. So let me just talk about some of the aspects regarding how Adda can be involved in driving this adoption, right? So when all this buzz was going on around EV charging and all, we did a short survey, and we found out some interesting statistics regarding the overall adoption of EV in apartment complexes. So let me just talk a bit about it. From our survey, what we found that, across the country, it was just like the adoption was just around 6%. With respect to setting up the EV charging stations, and around 93% communities did not have the setup at all, and around 7.3% communities, outright did not want it to set up one, but there are 92% of the communities who said that they are looking forward for setting up the charging setup in their communities. And some of the important challenges and apprehensions regarding setting up EV implementation in communities were around the choice of vendor, infrastructure capabilities, and the charging risks and safety that Chaitanya briefly touched upon as well, and location management, right? Which some of the speakers previously also touched upon. I think now almost all of these things are kind of getting addressed slowly, as we are all coming together, all the stakeholders are coming together in addressing and solving all the challenges that are there. And a few other findings where, the challenges that the RWA saw was around metering and billing, and the main important thing being the community acceptance and usage and necessary approvals and fire risk, right? Some of the findings were, all around this. And how Adda can help here is with respect to two things, mainly as a platform. So one of them being that we have been approached by a lot of vendors. Of course, BAF is our biggest platform for the Vendor Connect. So we also do have Vendor Connect, where, the RWAs can be connected with BAF and, other vendors who are there in this space. That is where we do bring a platform for the RWAs. And second thing is, we are watching out this space, and the thing that could be a challenge is with respect to the billing, right? So that is something I think Adda as a product can definitely see synergy in either integrating with the billing providers or, solving some of the billing challenges that may arise. I mean, we do not know, but yes, we are looking out for possible solutions around that as well. Yeah, so that's what it is in brief about ADDA, and we are happy to be associated with this as always. And congratulations to Salarpuria Greenage team for that wonderful initiative. It was really nice to see, a very neatly set up done there. I definitely would want to learn more about it. Of course, I think BAF and Citizen Matters would carry a full-fledged information about how the whole setup was done. Of course, Vishnu also had shared in one of the webinars that we conducted in about EV a month back, right, regarding how the setup can be done in a typical RWA. So quite a lot of knowledge sharing there that happened in that session as well. And so I think we at ADDA resonate very well with the vision that BAF carries, like what Nagraj sir rightly said, right? It's about the impact and not the applause. So that's what we also truly believe in, and we do associate ourselves rightly there. And yeah, I wish all the best to everybody here, and thank you for giving us an opportunity also to be associated with this initiative. Thanks, Vishnu, and thanks to WRI, thanks to all the government stakeholders here on this forum, and thanks to all the RWS.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Ashika. So yeah, I hope I'm not on mute. Okay,
no, you're not.
Okay, great. Okay, thanks a lot, Ashika. So we have, so we are coming to the end where we are coming to the key segment. So once again, I want to quickly thank the BESCOM team, Mr. Rajendra Cholan, Srinath, and Ms. Gunjan from Department of Industries. Now we heard the key partners speak, WRI from policy point of view, ADDA from how we can scale it up point of view. Unfortunately, our critical digital media partner, Citizen Matters, we could not give enough slots because it's already jam-packed session. But nonetheless, you'll hear a lot from Citizen Matters in terms of the let's say the Q&As or the articles or media content, etc. Right? So you would keep seeing that. So we'll come to the last and most exciting segment. So now the heart of it, right? So we have heard a lot of things around it. Now, who is it that's going to really install this, and how we're going to make it happen, right? That's the critical part, is with our vendor partners who have rolled out exciting offers for RWAs to have, like, to be honest, there are probably hundreds of free EV charging stations on offer, right? So for that, I will quickly hand it over to Pradeep and Satish, who are part of our team, which is part of the BAF E-Vaahana campaign in BAF. So they will briefly explain in a couple of minutes on how we have arrived in terms of how we have shortlisted vendors or what are the key aspects that we saw. Then we'll go to introductions of all the key partners that are available here, right? So with that, I hand it over to Pradeep and Satish, and to the vendors. Over to you. We are, just as a time check, we are running behind by around 15 minutes, so I hope it's okay with everyone else. Thanks a lot. So over to you, Pradeep and Satish, for the last segment.
Thank you, Vishnu, and I'll try to keep it as short as possible, but I want the vendor partners to get their 3 minutes, although we currently have 7 of them who will briefly share their thoughts. But at this point of time, it's not that they're likely to provide what kind of offers they are going to give. There is another space for that, which Vishnu will share with all of you in a little bit. But at this point of time, I'd like to, so many have spoken, and I am sure that we have now no reason not to go ahead with this whole process of exploring how to install an EV charging facility, whether you do it in the next month or within this year. Of course, that depends on how it works out for you. So a few things that struck Satish and me, of course, Vishnu was also part of it, but Satish and me have kind of spoken to so many different vendors. The thoughts that came to our mind were mostly around these. How many charging stations are required? Where do we locate them? You had a little bit of a look at Salarpuria Greenage, but this question is quite prominent because many of you might have 1 or 2 vehicles or no vehicles at all. So then what's the way in which you are looking to go ahead and make that investment? So this was one question that came to our minds. And then we also looked at our EV chargers standards. So if you saw that there were a couple of different guns which would go into a 2-wheeler and 3-wheeler. So those are things that we looked at. Are the vendors providing a CapEx or an OpEx model or both of them? So some of them are operating OpEx model, and like an earlier speaker shared, the DC chargers are a lot more expensive, and there is an opportunity for operating on a OpEx model. But otherwise, the AC chargers, the slow chargers are reasonably charged, and I think it works well on a CapEx model. And there are many offers, as Vishnu has said. Then the next question, and in fact, some of the questions that came on this chat was also, do we need special permission from the authorities? Does BESCOM need to, provide any, consent and things like that? And are there any recurring costs? Is it okay for us to just invest in the unit and, then it keeps serving us, or do we need to have recurring costs? What kind of maintenance intensivity is there for these various chargers? So we looked at many of these, and we have reached out to a number of players. There are some very well-known names, and there are some who seem to have some excellent products, and they're going to talk to you now. So without spending any more time on it, what I would like to do next is to invite the various vendors who have been shortlisted. There are more, but they will come again on Saturday. But for the moment, I would like to call all of these people, but please limit yourself to 3 minutes or less, because we have already taken quite a bit of time. And please share your thoughts and how you would like to support the BAF RWA community. So I'd like to start with Ola Electric. Ola Electric would like to, share their thoughts.
Vishnu, is it okay if Srinath could speak for about 3-4 minutes before we go to the vendors? Do you think so? Or at the end? Vishnu? Vishnu, are you on?
Maybe you're muted, Vishnu.
Yeah, Vishnu is on mute.
Okay, right. May I request Mr. Srinath to speak for a few words before the vendors take over? Mr. Srinath is the Deputy General Manager who is helping us a lot and who is in charge of the electric vehicles. Mr. Srinath, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I will not take much time. First of all, I would congratulate BAF for organizing this important event on a special day, that is National Pollution Control Day, and allowing us to be part of this important program. Bangalore is already having an edge over other cities. The first all-electric car manufacturer is from Bangalore city. The first EV taxi fleet operation is also from Bangalore city. And we have more number of electric vehicles and having established early lead. So this trend is expected to continue. I would only speak on two issues. First one, I really appreciate the enthusiasm shown by the Salarpuria residents team in demonstrating the charging infrastructure they have installed in their premises, which is, I believe, is a classic example for other apartment associations to follow, to emulate. The second one, Sri Nagaraj Rao has mentioned about three important things that I would like to respond as a state nodal agency. He mentioned about the community infrastructure, fixed charges, as well as the single window agency. Sir, as you mentioned, community infrastructure, it plays a vital role. As far as the single dwelling house is concerned, we do not have any issue for charging their electric vehicles. So when it comes to the residents of the high-rise building, so we'll be having the parking lots, parking space allocated away from the BESCOM meter. They are facing a lot of problem. In fact, many of the residents have approached BESCOM, though it is not in the purview of BESCOM. I say this because we are concerned up to the metering point. So beyond which is the in the purview of the residents, owner of the meter. So from this perspective, establishing a community infrastructure in the high-rise building premises is very, very critical and very vital. So from that perspective, what the Salarpuria has done is really remarkable. Even in Western countries and European countries, they have taken in this community infrastructure on priority to provide the facility for the residents. So WRA person mentioned about the metering and billing issues and also the special permission. So there is no special permission required from the nodal agency, that is BESCOM, for installing the charging station. It is just another tariff of LT6C. So there should not be a problem. Even if you go for the sub-meter, there is a provision if the primary connection is the HT connection. And the President Nagaraj Rao sir mentioned about the fixed charges, doing away with the fixed charges. We do recognize, we have taken the cognizance of the effects of having the, in fact, the ill effects of having the fixed charges. We have written to the Regulatory Commission and we requested the BAF to approach Regulatory Commission with a request not to include these fixed charges, at least during the initial years. So from the public charging infrastructure perspective, till it becomes commercially viable, we strongly believe the fixed charges could be hindrance. And the third point that you mentioned was a single window agency. I would like to bring to your notice, as mentioned by our managing director, we already have a single window agency that is smart grid and electric vehicle, which is primarily to facilitate all the issues related to the charging infrastructure is concerned. What Gunjan Krishna ma'am mentioned was to have a single window agency for giving the connections also. We are also trying to resolve this issue because as of now, to get a connection, the technical feasibility is very critical. So the power sanction depends on the technical feasibility, so which has to be assessed by the jurisdictional officer of BESCOM. Nevertheless, there should not be any delay in giving the power connection. We already have more than 80 connections given by BESCOM for this charging infrastructure. And BESCOM has taken a very big initiative of giving the initial push for creation of a public charging infrastructure. As MD already mentioned, we have 136 charging units which are up and running. And there is a very good mobile application by name EV Mitra. It is available on Google Play Store. It gives a lot of information on the existing charging stations, such as the location. You can navigate to the location. It gives information on the kind of charging units and what is the tariff, so on and so forth. So we also have plans to strengthen the infrastructure by adding another 140 charging stations in Bangalore city. And one important thing I want to mention here is there is a provision of providing public charging infrastructure if residents of the high-rise building allow us to install the charging station, but with a condition that it has to be allowed to the public also. In such case, BESCOM is ready to do the investment. That 100% investment will be done by BESCOM. Manning and managing will also be done by BESCOM. Residents can also utilize that, provided it should be allowed to the public. And the association period is also going to be for a longer duration of 10 years. So this is, and for any other queries, we are always there. And Mr. Nagaraj Rao sir is very inspirational and has been associated with the BESCOM for quite some time. So we are always there to support for any kind of issues that BAF wants us to get involved. So I will stop at this, and thanks for the opportunity, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Srinath, for the clarifications. Thanks a lot. So with that, yeah, let's move on. Pradeep, I think we can start with the vendor introductions finally. So yeah, maybe we'll start with Ola Electric.
Yes, let's start off with Ola Electric. Should we give them, the control to use the screen?
Yeah, I think they can present. We've given the control. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Yashwant.
Hi, this is Yashwant Kumar from Ola Electric. So the camera is here. I'll talk from here. Hi, so this is Yashwant. I lead charging business for Ola Electric. Thanks for having me here. Thanks, Vishnu. Thanks, BF. Thank you for inviting us to participate in this campaign, which is really inspirational. We found the talks by other distinguished speakers very, very encouraging. Mr. Srinath, I think he has been a torchbearer for EV adoption. We have had chances to interact with him also, very supportive. I think he has provided us a lot of guidance. We are here to talk about Mission Electric. So Ola Group has called upon the entire country to join the Mission Electric. And as part of that mission, our first product is already out in the market. We have launched Ola S1, which is a smart connected electric two-wheeler. It's available at about 1.29 lakhs. We are really proud that this is the world-class product with best design, best performance, and best technologies. We are making it available across 1,000+ cities in every part of the country. We have received very, very encouraging responses in the drives so far. We have received more than 10 lakh reservations for the vehicle. Some of that came within a very short window of 24 hours, right? And we continue to add more and more customers to our revolution, right? As we started building our future factory about a year back, we have already completed the factory. It's ready in record 9 months' time. Our scooter has received fabulous response, very encouraging response from customers in every part of the country. We have already completed close to 20,000 rides. We are also offering a charging solution through Ola Hypercharge network, which will be available in 100+ cities and towns. We are going to provide both public charging as well as community charging solutions. Further, with every scooter, there will be a portable charger available, which people can use to charge at home. To make that very easy and convenient for people, we are offering a home charging installation service as well, which people can choose to avail, right? As many of the speakers already talked about, they threw a lot of light on importance of charging. Charging is at the heart of the EV experience for customers. So we have also built a smart solution for community charging, which really makes it very convenient, which takes away a lot of the problems residents face who live in a high-rise society. So to enable this, we are planning to offer universal smart sockets for which any apartment society doesn't need to spend any capital from their side. It will be provided by Ola. It will be a best-in-class solution, hassle-free. We will provide the installation. We will maintain that system, both the hardware and the software. We'll have a very transparent system for paying the electricity bill back to the RWA. Whatever is consumed by our solution, it will be reimbursed as per actuals to the society. For consumers, we'll have an app solution, a mobile app, using which they can scan, authenticate the sockets, and manage their charging and payment facilities, right? Through the app, they can always see what is the state of their charging in real time, right? Wherever they are, they can go back to their apartment, to their residence, and see how much charging their vehicle has achieved, right? And this is, again, available for both a two-wheeler and a four-wheeler. In terms of billing and payment, we'll have a post-paid facility. It will be entirely cashless digital payments, right? So very zero-touch solution, very easy and convenient for both the RWA to adopt, as well as for consumers to use on a day-to-day basis, right?
Thank you, Ashika.
Also, in terms of safety standards, other best practices, right? We are following, I think one of the speakers earlier called out CEA, right? So the protocol that they have put in place, that's what we are going to follow. Our goal is to really electrify close to 10,000 societies in the next 6 months. We are really looking forward to engage with your members in the coming days and discuss more details of how we can bring this solution close to their homes. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Yashwant. Thank you so much. And I would like to next call upon Magenta. Magenta has been with in fact, they have been with BAF earlier too. So Magenta, I would like you to share your screen and tell about yourself, how best you can serve the members of BAF.
Hello.
Yes, you're audible, Rahul.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this opportunity, first of all. And thank you so much for sharing insights by BAF, BESCOM. I think it is really helpful for the people, all those people who are looking for this EV charging facility at their residential society.
So, Srinath?
Hello. I'm being joined here with, along with our co-founder, Mr. Daryl Dias, Rima Lewis, who is looking after Bangalore, and Afan, who is looking after the residential apartments all over. Just to give you, to start with background of Magenta, we are a HPCL seed funded company. We have also been incubated by Shell India. We've also been selected for the Microsoft startup program. And we are the India's leading EV charging player. Now, this is something that we always spend some time and is always a special focus within the company on the safety. We are manufacturing multiple products. We are also deploying multiple EV charging solutions for different customer segments. And one focus that we always have is this safety pledge to put it in the best and safest possible manner for our customers. So that, and I'm proud to say that we have a 0% accident records till now. Some of the awards, recognitions, and media mentions that we have got. One of the award that I would always like to mention is Frost & Sullivan Intelligent Mobility Award. Here we were on the stage along with the likes of Merckx and Porsche. So this is also a testimony to our work in the market since beginning. Other achievements that we had, we opened the India's first solar powered EV charging station in Mumbai. We also incidentally installed the India's first EV billing meter in Maharashtra. We also had India's largest public EV charging station opened few months back in Mumbai. And we have also set up first charger on the highway. That's on Mumbai-Pune highway. Recently, we have pledged to invest around 250 CR in a manufacturing facility in Tamil Nadu. We are overall, we are a company based out of Bangalore. We are based out of Bannerghatta Road. And we are a very local company to Bengaluru. We have a very larger office. We have also deployed multiple electric vehicles along with the EV charging stations in Bengaluru. I would like to focus on our products and solutions. We are manufacturing in-house hardware, which allows us to focus on the safety of the solutions that we are offering to the customers. We also have our in-house software solution. And we are targeting multiple customer segments, that is residential, public, and fleet EV charging. Overall vision of the company is to build the largest EV charging network pan-India. Currently, I'm proud to mention that we have around 4,000 EV chargers under installation for us. And one of the order that we have received from the government under the FAME2 scheme, under which we are installing around 3,000 chargers. We are setting up the first EV charger under that program right there in Bengaluru. This is just a snapshot of what we are building across India. 20 plus states, 40 plus cities, 1,600 DC fast chargers, and objective is to capture and provide EV charging to all the OEMs customers. Whether it's two-wheelers, four-wheelers, different OEM companies, we want to target all of them to provide them one-stop solution for their EV charging. So I'm putting a video here, just trying my luck if it can play.
Rahul, you're already beyond the 3 minutes. Can we reserve this for later? We have
I just have one video if it can play here.
Audio is very feeble. We can't hear.
Is it playing?
It's playing, but it's the audio is very, very feeble. You can barely hear.
In fact, this is one of the chargers that we have installed in Bengaluru in one of the residential apartments.
Okay, nice.
And this is our in-house charger.
Pradeep, you could move on.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Rahul. So I think we can put all these videos also in the portal. Sure. Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, let's move on to the next one.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rahul. Thank you. I think I would like to next call our vendor partner Revos, who go by the brand name Bolt. Revos, would you like to take the screen? After this, it will be Aether.
Yeah, so hi everyone, thanks for organizing this, right? So we've been working with BAF and some of the partners here for quite some time. Quickly, I'll run you through what we do. We are a 2000 Bangalore-based company based out of HSR layout. Been in Bangalore for about 5 years now. Started way back in 2017 when EVs were, not around and they were still talking about EVs, right? So since then, we've been working on building a software layer for the entire EV ecosystem. We'll tell you more about it. We are a venture-funded company. Recently raised investment from a climate fund based out of US. We're also, invested by a lot of angels in the country. I'll tell you more about it, right? So currently, we have installed about 2,700 odd charging points in the country, and out of which 750 are in Bangalore alone. So you could say that we have the largest presence in Bangalore, right? This is our team. Mohit and Jyoti started Revos, and this is our board. I'll just minimize the screen. Yeah. Also Chetan Maini, who's also known as father of EV and founder of Reva, is an angel investor. They saw that they aligned with the vision, and this is our board, right? Quickly, so I'll tell you what we do, right? So a lot of I think EV charging is about, people are talking about we'll use a mobile application, we will create all of it. But when we realized, when we went to a lot of apartments, what we figured out is, most of the parking lots are in basements, right? -2, -3 levels, where there's no internet connectivity, where there is no, other provision for, recharges, payments, etc. Right? So we believe that EV charging should be frictionless, should be more like, you connect your vehicles and it charges like what Aether's vehicles do today, right? So we build that intelligent layer between vehicles and charging there. So we also have work on, we take pride in being a software first company. We build a lot of integrations with apartment ERPs. We recently partnered with MyGate, and I think Ashika spoke about Adda. I think a lot of building around post-payment, prepayment, closed user groups. We've built a lot of custom features for RWS, right? Some of our installations in Bengaluru, right? So we have, this is Purva Skydale on the Harloor Road. There's another one, right? A small charge point, which we did in one of the monthly things. We also have a factory in Bangalore. We're not just a Bangalore-based company, but we manufacture them within Bangalore. We also, produce these devices. So currently we have installed them, about 760 odd of them in Bangalore alone, right? Some of the societies will be done, and like what we believe is, all applications are fine, but over time, if you have to do it every day for your vehicle charging, doesn't make a lot of sense, right? And I think as a company, what we recommend all apartment societies is, the long-term solution is having your residents charge their vehicles in their parking lots, and you could figure out how the metering, etc., could work, but the experience for your users is something which is like they use it every day, right? So you should, that's a long-term aim for all of us, that we should have some charging available in parking lots, which need not be a charging point. It can be a small electric connection, right? So all you need to do is just put an electric connection out there and put some mechanisms to track power, which is also safe enough as per the standards, right? So that's what we do. We also are the India's most affordable charging point today. This retails at about 3,000 odd bucks, even the level 2 chargers. So what we take pride is in building R&D, trying to make these devices cost effective, right? Today, one of the biggest challenges is EV charging hardware is very expensive. So we're trying to break that cycle and bring in innovation to make them very affordable, right? Yeah, so that's about Bolt and RevOS. We believe that EV charging should be frictionless, and it's an everyday thing. So building good software experiences powered by affordable hardware is what our go-to market is. I'll just, I think I still have like half a minute time here. I'll share a small video which we just did. We recently ran a campaign, right? So our idea is not just to just build up charging infrastructure, but make people aware about charging in general, right? So we did a large campaign which got about 5 million odd views. We believe is, yeah, I think the video is over to you.
Hey, Manoj! क्या मनोज बाबू इलेक्ट्रिक है इधर तो चार्ज किया और किधर किधर करेगा इधर भी इधर भी इधर भी इधर भी इधर भी
ऐसे दिमाग मत घुमा पैसे बचा पैसे कमा
अब इधर भी
Yeah, so that's from RevOS Bolt. To visit our website, we also made a white paper document recently in partnership with MyGate. It's a 21-page comprehensive document, right? So please do go through it, and we have put certain a phase-wise roadmap for RWAs alike. So happy to speak to all of you, and looking forward to partner with BAF and apartments in Bangalore.
Thank you, Madhu. I'd like to call on Aether. After Aether, it will be EVRE. So please be ready, EVRE. Aether, please go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kartika.
Yes,
and I represent Aether Energy. Let me just... My name is Kartika and I represent Aether Energy. Aether Energy is one of the largest two-wheeler electric vehicle manufacturing companies in India. We were founded in 2013 and funded by the likes of Hero MotoCorp, Tiger Global, and Flipkart founders. Aether Energy has also set up the largest fast charging public network for two-wheelers in India, and it's called Aether Grid. I'm going to keep it really, really short in this presentation and hoping that we can have a lot more in-depth conversation on Saturday. Talking about Aether Grid, which is our fast charging network, we are present in over 300 locations and present in over 25 cities across the country. Those are our products, the Aether Dot and Aether Grid. What we believe is that EV charging infrastructure cannot have a one-size-fits-all. And we would be looking forward to hearing from many more of you. Salarpuria Greenage is one of our very first installations in Bangalore at an RWA. And we're looking forward to a lot more interaction in the coming weeks. So look forward to that. I'm going to end my presentation right here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kartika. That was really nice of you to put it that way. Thank you. So next is EVRE, and after that will be Kazan. And finally, it will be Tata Power. Yes, EVRE, please go ahead.
I think Kartika has to stop presenting the screen for me to start presenting.
Yeah. Kartika, can you stop your screen? The screen is still on, Kartika. Yeah.
So good evening, everyone. This is Jeevak and I represent EVRE. First of all, thank you, BAF, for putting in such a good event and bringing all the stakeholders on the same platform. A lot of views exchanged, a very good event. So I just go and explain about EVRE. So we are a startup. We are based out of Bangalore and Hyderabad. So we have a registered office in Bangalore and a corporate office here in Hyderabad. We also have a manufacturing facility here in Hyderabad. So are you able to see my screen move?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So we are an EV charger manufacturer and also a charge point operator, having presence across major cities in India. Our focus has been to develop and manufacture world-class EV chargers with enhanced technology, and obviously aesthetics is one of the key points which we focus on, and also robust performance. We are a firm believer of Make in India, and hence all our products are manufactured, in fact, designed, engineered, and manufactured in-house in our Hyderabad facility. We also have our own, mobile app and web dashboard through which we can access our charging points and also monitor them. All our chargers are again OCPP 1.6 compliant, and hence they share data over the cloud and user authentication. All features are available, including online payment from our mobile application. We are also providing dynamic load management service along with our chargers, so they are enabled to perform dynamic load management. We can actually throttle power out of these chargers, wherein we can maximize the number of chargers installations at a particular society within a limited amount of load. So more of that can be discussed on the Saturday session. I'll just move to the next slide. So today we are currently having 8 core products with 1 technology patent and 3 product patents granted to us. We are currently operating out of 12 major cities across India and having around 45 charging hubs, housing more than 450 charge points, where we service our business clients such as third-party logistic companies and on-demand fleets. We also provide residential and workspace charging on energy as a service model. We also do it on a capex model. Both these models will be discussed on Saturday. Few of our clients include Hiranandani, Lodha, Mahindra World City in Chennai, Shobha. These are some of our installations across various cities, including Bangalore, Mumbai, and we are also starting operations in Delhi NCR region. Yes, so we've been tied up with Hiranandani for setting up charging stations across their township, which is around 3,000 acres in Thane in Mumbai. Then we have also tied up with Mahindra World City for setting up around 1,500 acres of their commercial township with EV charging across. And we aim to set up close to 10,000 charging points across India by 2023. So through our partners like Park Plus, and we are also partnered with Adda for setting up charging stations across. So that would be it. I mean, a short intro from our end. Yeah.
Yes, we will get more time on Saturday. Okay. Thank you so much, Jeevak. So next will be Kazan. Kazan, can you please take over? And after that will be Tata Power.
Hi everyone, this is Mrinal from Kazam. Just a moment. So hi, my name is Mrinal. I'm from Kazam. So Kazam is, we are focusing to build Asia's largest electric vehicle charging station network across Asia. we are an asset light setup. So what we're trying to do is we are trying to democratize infrastructure towards charging stations. We are building infrastructure across multiple segments, which includes RWAs, and then in-road charging. We are trying to create park and charge model. We are trying to set up charging stations in commercial spaces. So basic thought process behind Kazam is that we are trying to create a very robust charging infrastructure, which can take this take us to the next leap of towards EV revolution. So Kazam by itself, we are focusing to create a IoT based devices. We are providing IoT based devices, which comes with extremely smart charging management system and load management system. Again, this was discussed in today's session, that load management is going to be an important factor in coming few months, because load sanction has to be controlled, and we also need to ensure that there is no there is no accident around these charging stations. So that is the focus here. We are just 1 year old organization. We have already installed 1,000 plus charging stations across Bangalore, and we are extremely positive about creating an ecosystem which is going to take the entire EV revolution to the next step, and we will be looking to play a key role in this. We will be looking to play a key role into this. That's from Kazam. We would be open for multiple discussions and a detailed conversation around it on Saturday. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Mrunal. Yes, I think you're managed within your 3 minutes. And next would be Tata Power Easy Charge. I understand Easy Charge is the brand name. So will Arvind be handling it?
Yeah, thanks, Pradeep.
You have to come out of the screen, Kazam.
Mrunal, you'll need to, stop the presentation of your screen.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. This is Arvind here, representing Tata Power. So first of all, thanks to the BAF committee members for giving this great opportunity to be part of this great initiative. So I'll just share the screen of mine. I'm not able to share it.
Ajay, would you like to help him?
Yeah, I think it's visible now.
Not yet.
No, not yet. We're not able to see.
Yeah. Now?
Okay, now it's visible.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see it now.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
So just an introduction about Tata Power. So most of them will be knowing about the company. So ours is a legacy of 100 years of experience into power sector. So starting from generation of power, transmission, distribution, and each and every sector of power, we are there. So we have around 11,000 megawatt of installed capacity of power, and out of the 30% is clean energy sources. And we are also India's #1 solar rooftop EPC player as well. So as an experienced person in the power sector, we have taken a lead in enabling the e-mobility ecosystem in India by developing the EV charging infrastructure. So even though the electric vehicles are ramping up, still the charging is always a hassle for the people. So Tata Power as a company has taken the initiative that we will take a step forward in that in building the infrastructure across the country. So we are focusing on each and every segment, like restaurants, retailers, malls, workplace, residential complex, everywhere and across the country for this. So ours, I will say, like as a charging as a complete service we are providing. So it's an end-to-end solution. So including the operation of the charger, management of the charger, billing, collection, settlement, everything is taken care by Tata Power EV Charger itself. And obviously it will be ease of access to everyone. And I can say that it will be a uniform, unified and ubiquitous charging experience for everyone. So as everyone was saying, we also have our own software platform, which was developed by a partner company, TCS. So which has a high-class quality in this software, which has several user cases for each and every segment of customers. So you say like fleet operators, corporate, housing societies, each and every segment of the customers will have a different kind of user cases and options, which will suit their needs. So apart from this, charging through app, we are about to launch an option for charging to the RFID card as well. So as discussed with some of the person, there are hassles while charging it in the basement or something where there will not be a signal to access the app. So we are about to launch by this month, and with the RFID card option as well in all our chargers. So people can charge hassle-free in that. So not only that, we have several other use cases like blocking the charger in advance. So those kind of options also will be available. So there will not be any timing issues for charging it. So this is about the software experience, what I'm saying about. And so as of now, we have installed around 1,000+ charging points.
How much?
George, please mute yourself. George Samson. Yes, Arvind, carry on.
So we are around having 1,000+ public charging points installed across 130+ Indian cities. And already another 350+ locations are under installations. And all these are particularly public charging points, what I'm speaking about. So now this, with the support of BAF and all other RWA members, we are sure that we can give a hassle-free charging experience for all the RWA members. So that's from my side. Thank you all. Thanks a lot. Anyway, we will deep dive into the things on Saturday. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Arvind. Thank you very much. Thank you all vendor partners. We will have a more detailed meeting later on in this week. There may be a few more. This is for the information of all the RWA members of BAF. I'll pass it on to Vishnu now. Vishnu, please.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot to everyone. I can't name each and everyone. So yeah, it's been a wonderful session. So as a next steps, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to send some more updates. So BAF has launched a microsite for EV charging, and we have started a Telegram group which we will circulate amongst the residents and vendors. So we can start collaboration there, and we kickstart a vendor exclusive session on Saturday, where there are potentially hundreds of charging stations for free on offer, and very, very exciting offers in the next coming 1 month. So we'll kickstart with that session, and we will also answer most of your questions. Yeah, looking forward to see you all on Saturday with refresh your minds, come forward to hear from what our vendors are offering, right? So thanks a lot for everyone for joining in, and it's an exciting campaign that got kickstarted. So let's build on the momentum. And it's not just a webinar that we have started where, we ended with this one webinar. We're just going to keep building the momentum, keep engaging with RWAs, authorities, BESCOM, Department of Industries and Commerce, or WRI. I mean, let's make it happen. Let's make it reality, right? So ultimately what I would be and the team of BAF would be really happy is when we have, hundreds of charging stations set up in Bangalore, right? So that's what the ultimate end goal of this is. So Bikram, any quick final comments from your side to close it?
No, I think we have 24 minutes over short of time. So I'm sure people are very keen to head back to doing a bunch of things. But let me put it this way. I mean, pun intended, I think this has been a very energetic session. Great start. At least, President Sir, Mr. Nagaraj Rao reminded us of the rooftop solar sort of initiative which BAF had started 3 years back. I'm extremely encouraged by how we have progressed on that front. I do believe that I think the EV campaign is the next rooftop solar campaign for us. Extremely relevant, extremely pertinent for current. I would like to point out to 3 things that I think which is critical for us as part of this campaign at BAF. One is, I think, how do we create more demand generation, right? I mean, at least from the point of view of residents, etc. There we believe there's a lot of critical need or a role that knowledge and outreach will play. So we're very glad that I think we have partners like Adda and Citizen Matters who are, and as well as WRI who will support us a lot in terms of making sure that a lot more awareness and information is reaching to a lot of people. That's when demand will spur, right? People will know what it means, right? Is it simple? Is it tough, etc.? A lot more awareness needs to be generated. Second is, of course, supply maturity needs to come through for a long period of time. I think that was a question mark and a challenge, but it gladdens my heart to see today
7 brands represented in this meeting alone today. I'm sure there'll be many, many more. So thank you to Ola, Magenta, Revos, Ather, EVRE, Kazam, Tata Power. I'm sure you'll add a lot of value, and I'm sure you'll add a lot of skin in the game in terms of getting the whole demand spurred as well. I know that you're bringing a lot of offers and incentives to get the ecosystem, to get the whole RWA ecosystem sort of empowered. Final piece is of policy and ecosystem building itself, where we see as BAF playing a role to sort of be the Sutradhar as much as possible. We call ourselves a self-help group. We believe in bringing different partners together. At the end of the day, I stay in an apartment. So many of you also are staying in an apartment, right? I like to call ourselves as a self-help group. And we saw that, I think, even from the government, the nodal agencies, BESCOM, Mr. Srinath has been guiding for a very long period of time. So I wanted to specially mention his role that he's played till now. In addition to that, Mr. Rajendra Cholan, who's been a friend of BA for a long time in his various roles, Ms. Gunjan Krishna, who's now, I think, actively also stated that the industries department will also be very keen to play a role. So in terms of also getting the whole administrative and nodal agencies and the policy ecosystem also aligned, right? I think we have a great momentum going on over here. So looking forward to this, at least from BAF's point of view, from the entire community, we are looking forward to this campaign as being a starting point, right? To build that whole momentum. And like Ms. Gunjan said, I think the Bangalore model can be a good demonstrative model. At least from BAF's point of view, we are very, very serious about being the self-help group. We can set the example for other cities and other communities in the country. So best wishes to everybody. Good luck, and let's get more energized. Thank you all.
Thank you all. Have a nice evening.